So today we're going to be installing the Polaris branded Rockford Fosgate Stage 5 audio system in our 2020 Polaris Razor Pro XP Ultimate. Make a video just kind of giving a little more in-depth of what it comes with and what it doesn't. I know there's other videos out there that's how to install it. Not really going to go into that too terribly much, but maybe we'll learn a few things together. Merch is in the description. Probably like me, you've already watched a few videos because you've either bought this expensive kit or you're thinking about buying this expensive kit. And there's a few disappointments on the reviews on the website. So I kind of hoped I could mitigate some of that ahead of time. That's just my broken glove compartment latch. This little guy right here, I'm hoping is gonna fix what people complain about when it comes to the bass being not that impressive. For 105 bucks, I hope this alleviates that. Hey, it does come with zip ties. So you can see your harness, it plugs in the back of your ride command here. Then it has a plug-in for the amp, probably the inline. Then it does require power on your pulse bar. Has an inline fuse built into it, and then the connection that goes to the back of the knob itself. It does kind of have a nice little cool feel. You can feel these tiny little notches like a ratchet inside there, so I at least appreciate that for what this costs. Also, based on our research before we just started tearing into that guy, we found out we're going to need a rear audio harness because ours does not come with one. And I can't imagine which of these machines came with the rear audio harness unless it came with speakers already at the headrest area. So we didn't have any wires going anywhere. Also, the instructions for the Stage 5 system call for the wrong harness part number. Polaris had to tell us to order this one after we sat on hold for about 15 minutes. Now for the big box. I did buy this at the end of the year. Polaris had a 20% off a lot of these accessories. Styrofoam stuffer. Here's one single box. Styrofoam stuffer. All right. Instructions. These are the replacement front speakers to go in our dash. The rear pods to go by our headrests. Little thumb screws that fasten these in place. The tweeters we will replace on the roll cage. And the mount brackets that'll hold these where they go. Bottom box. Okay. Clearly, it's our under dash subwoofer. That is pretty massive. Okay, those are just sitting on there. So there's that Rockford Fosgate amp. You can get a good look at the back side of that speaker and the wiring inside here. The rubber mat that sits on top of the subwoofer enclosure under your glove compartment lid. Instructions for the subwoofer by itself. This is the top portion of that sub enclosure. I guess it just gives it a little more cubic feet for tuning, and it is a sealed enclosure. Well, that's not really a box. And there's the mount bracket to hold that sub enclosure in place. It does have the long, I think that's a 4mm Allen wrench to tighten those two halves together. And then not much harness at all. It mentions that it's now an 800 watt audio system. So I wasn't sure if the stock ride command system was already 400 watt because there's only one amplifier that I can see, and that's mounted to the sub enclosure, unless it goes in and out of that amp to provide power to these other speakers. I will say that the stock audio system that's in this thing is less than impressive because I noticed if you're riding 15 or 20 miles an hour tops, you have to have the volume turned to almost 10, I think is as high as it goes, just to really be able to enjoy hearing what the words are in the songs you're listening to. So it definitely needed this upgrade. Plus I'm a 90s kid and we all have a system. So I guess we're gonna find out together if this juice is worth the squeeze. So I don't know if you guys would have rather had a time lapse for that with a bunch of, rap-like music in the background or not. But I took apart the interior slightly and, I've watched a lot of videos of people complaining about how tough it is. And you know what? With the exception of getting to a couple of these little push pins that go in the top along here, just go ahead and unbolt that so you can get to the push pin that goes right here. That's really the toughest part of taking all this stuff out. And otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. These are the factory dash housings, and that's one of the factory speakers. This is the ones we're replacing them with. Now, technically, they are two different part numbers, but as I saw in other people's videos, you can't really tell them apart outside of this one having a sticker on it. Here's the difference between the factory tweeters that are in those pillars and the ones that come in this kit. Actually, it looks like it has a smaller magnet and also a smaller resistor thing here, which is basically usually like a base blocker or crossover type thing. Anyway, that's what you get. So here's the thing I saw that was most hated about this install, and that's bringing the subwoofer up from underneath. Now, the trick is to start this leading edge in first and then feed it between this crash bar and the bottom of the dash, and then just reach in here and man this up to where it needs to be. You want to watch that your harness is kind of moved over some, and make sure and plug this in first. I did find where the other Rockford Fosgate amp is from the factory, mounted to the back side of this power distribution area. So when I got that installed, then put this in, I'll tell you, I was not thrilled at how it sounded when I just did a little quick sound check. There's way too much mids and highs going to this subwoofer, and it's wrecking everything that you listen to. And I did plug this bass knob in line. It goes between a connector that's like right here and then a connector on the subwoofer harness. But man, it sends every audio signal to the sub and it just wrecks how everything else feels. These are up there, by the way, pretty simple, real simple install on those. So I think I'm gonna try to disconnect the bass knob and see how it sounds, because if you'll listen, it's pretty rough. That's all the way down and that's all the way down. And the volume is like 6. I guess I'm gonna have to check if there's maybe a firmware update or something, because there are no adjustments on that amp built onto that subwoofer enclosure. It's no good, to be honest. The bass doesn't need to be turned all the way down on the equalizer just so you can listen to your music, because it removes the mid bass and the bass from the smaller speakers in the dash and in the rear pods, which, by the way, have a lot of hiss in them, which I just don't love. Software update, fixed it. If you go to Polaris's website and go to the ride command, they've got software updates and map updates. You can download those, put them on a thumb drive. The thumb drive is this little cord that goes in the glove compartment, and then you turn the key on, click the star at the top. Well, anyway, the instructions are on their website. I don't work for them. We took it out this weekend and did a little bit of testing. Also, yeah, I did put that bass knob back in. Still not really sure, like if you're sitting dead still, just park listening to your tunes, it is kind of nice to turn up the bass a little bit. It does fill in a little bit more. So I guess I don't consider that it is a requirement to have that bass knob if you're gonna do this Stage 5 system and the software update. But it is nice to have. So, at this point, you've spent this much money, another $105 is not the end of the world. Also, it's the simplest thing you can install. Everything just plugs right in. So I'm gonna give this a B+. Yeah, a B+, because what you paid, it was all turnkey, bolt on, terminated correctly for you to run the wiring. And if you build your own system, even if you spent the same amount of money, you'd have to custom fabricate everything and it wouldn't come out looking this clean. So I've got to give a little bit of credit towards that. I don't think it's the best sounding audio system that you can have. I think it's way better than what it was. And I think it falls in that just high enough to be good enough category. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. It's just one more of these audio system installs, but this one is mine.